comment to, or it's more of a question and a comment, but how if Christopher Columbus discovered America, then don't we got to do away with the whole Thanksgiving story? How did Thanksgiving happen, man?
What you mean?
If he discovered America, then how did the whole story about the Indians, like how did that take place then?
How was they even here, right? That's talking about?
Right.
Yeah, they wouldn't even been here. Right, exactly. So what was the point of him coming over here in the beginning? Anybody know that? Go ahead. Whoever says Salakia first. What was the point?
So the point was that he was looking for the Jews to enslave them.
He was looking for the Jews to enslave them. Where you get that information from? Huh? I ain't never heard that before.
Yeah.
One second. Nishad, where you get that information from? Huh?
I don't remember exactly where it's from, but I remember hearing that Christopher Columbus knew that Jews were over here on this land, and they came over here to get them and make them their slaves or whatever.
All right, you heard that from Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge Monday night milk class last year. That's where you heard that from. And that wasn't the only purpose. As with anything, when it comes to the white man, it's always about one or two things. Now, the slavery falls up under that category, so we can use that. But for the most part, there's something else going on here. Go ahead and read that. We're going to bring it out. Somebody else says Salakia. I'm going to come out of. All right, go ahead.
When I was in school, they told us that Christopher Columbus was in search of spices, and he thought he was headed to India, and he thought that he could go, westbound and get to the east side of the continent. And when he got there, he mistook those people for so-called Indians and realized that they weren't.
Right. So who was those people? If he discovered it, then who was those people that was already here? We already know that because we in the truth, right? All right. Let's go ahead and read this, Yamayan. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna have the brother doing a pretty good little bit of reading, and we're gonna bring something out. If y'all want to, I just put up the link again on the YouTube, the new link for the Facebook. I'm gonna be showing a little piece. It's like only a minute, and I don't know if y'all gonna be able to hear it in the class, but they'll be able to get it on the YouTube. So if you're on the YouTube, you'll be able to hear it. Go ahead.
You have it on YouTube, right? Because I don't have Facebook.
Yeah, on the YouTube, just go to ISUPK, look up ISUPK Florida School, not ISUPK Florida where we put the camp videos, ISUPK Florida School. We broadcast from there. Every Monday. So you can go in there and you should.
I just got a link.
Yeah.
CCT?
Yeah, it says CC thief. Christopher Columbus is a thief. That's what that means.
Oh, okay.
All right. So go ahead, Yamayan, we're going to go ahead and read it.
Khan. Christopher Columbus, the untold story.
The untold story. You know, whenever you got secrets, it's always something that they ain't want you to know about this cat. They call him a hero, right? Go ahead.
Khan. On April 17, 1492, before his first voyage to the Americas, Columbus negotiated a business contract with King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain, entitling him to 10% of all profits. In this contract,
keep going.
The Spanish sovereigns agreed that of all and every kind of merchandise, whether pearls, precious stones, gold, silver, spices, and other objects, merchandise whatsoever, of whatever kind, name, and sort, which may be bought, bartered, discovered, acquired, and obtained within the limits.
All right, so start right there. We ain't got to go no further. The brother was right. They was telling us the truth. He did come from spices. Before he even left, he had already made a deal that whatever he finds on this voyage, right? Whatever he found on this voyage, they was going to break bread. He was going to get a certain percentage, and the rest of it was going to go back to Spain. Everybody follow me. So it wasn't like he was no great voyager or whatever the case may be, whatever word you want to use. Christopher Columbus was trying to get that bread. That's what he was about. That's all Esau wants to do, conquer and all of that. He didn't do this for no sake of him trying to discover something for the world. He did this for the money. All right. Go down to, because we ain't got that much time. Let's go to after turning out the Jews. Let's go there.
After turning out the Jews, beyond prophets, Columbus sought to convert native people to Catholicism.
Stop right there. Read it again.
Beyond prophets.
Beyond prophets that he was going to make. Go ahead.
Columbus sought to convert native people to Catholicism.
He thought to convert native people. What native people? The people that was already in the land, the people that were indigenous to the land, to Catholicism. Have anybody ever heard anything about Christopher Columbus changing people into Catholics? Who is the Roman Catholic Church? Didn't they the people that created the so-called Jesus in 325 or 326 AD at the Council of Nicaea? The people who run all of the thought process that you get from the churches that's in the hood today, these are the same people that helped fund the voyage for Christopher Columbus to come over here and enslave the people that was indigenous to this land. I ain't never heard this part of the story. Keep going.
In the prologue to his journal of the first voyage, Columbus wrote to Ferdinand and Isabella, "Your Highness, as Catholic Christians and princes who love the holy Christian faith and the propagation of it, and who are enemies of the sect of Muhammad, Islam, and to all idolatries and heresies, resolve to send me Cristobal Colon and the said parts of the India to see the said princes, with a view that they might be converted to our holy faith."
Okay, so here's the deal. He came over here to get slaves and to get money. Now, he was headed to India. To show you how dumb the white man is right here. If you look back, they had maps back in 1492 already of a land that was over here. They didn't have it mapped out like they had the rest of the world because they had not explored it. But if you look back, thousands of years before that, there were people that came over here and Christopher Columbus knew about this, right? So this is what you got to understand about the white man. Let's bring out a couple of scriptures. Being that I don't have a whole bunch of time, I ain't going to be able to break it down the way that I want to. So let's bring it out. Here's one of the scriptures I probably pull out every single camp. Let's go to Psalms 55 and 21. Let me get somebody on the joint. On the conference call.
Oh yeah.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I got the brother that's with me. Go ahead and read it, Trooper.
Psalms 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So now they're making this man to be a hero. They making him out to be somebody who was great. They got a day named after him. That all he did was come over here and destroy and pillage the land and the people that was already over here. And being that we see in this biography that we reading, he knew they was the Lord's people. He knew they was the real Jews that was over here. The 10 tribes that was lost and scattered abroad. Somebody tell me how he knew. Not you. Somebody else tell me how he knew. You got the biography in your hand. Go ahead. Not you, Nashak. Somebody else. Anybody? All right. I think you was in the class too, but go ahead.
he knew about it by reading the scriptures.
He knew about it the same way we know that the people that was over here were the children of Israel, by reading the scriptures, right? So this is what I said I was going to put up. I'm going to try to share my screen real quick. I ain't never did this in a class before, but I know it's possible. No, that's not it. And go ahead.
But with that being said, I remember it makes sense when I learned it from class. It makes sense what my college professor said. He was a so-called Levite. He was asking us if we couldn't answer. So he told us. He said, "Why would if somebody's going someplace they never went? Why would you specifically say three shifts and all the other things you need? You wouldn't know what you need if you're going somewhere." And then when I learned this in class, it went back to what he said.
All right. So what I'm doing now, I don't know if we're gonna be able to. If y'all gonna be able to hear it on the conference line, that's why I was giving y'all the link or whatever. This is the movie 1492. This is a piece where before he left, he was telling the dude that was gonna roll with him what he wanted to do. I'm pretty sure y'all might not be able to hear it, but we're gonna see if we can get it the best we can. YouTube should be able to hear it fine though. See if it play.
Why do you wish to sail west? To open a new route to Asia.
Y'all can't hear that, right?
Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold. At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year.
All right, so what he's saying, he wanted to get to Asia, just like the brother said. It was only one way, and that was to go all the way around Africa. It took a year. There's a third way, he's saying.
The distance is unknown.
So this the dude telling him the distance is unknown. You don't know. They don't know how far it's going to take to get there.
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands. The Jewish so certain. The calculations of Toscanelli, Maranati, Esdras is a Jew. So what's worse? 2 minutes, and already you're a bad man.
All right, so.
For telling the truth, yes. We are burning people for this.
All right, so what he said was, I know y'all probably ain't hear it on the conference line, is he said, how you know that it's even a way to get there that way? He named a couple of other spots, and then he said Esdras. And the dude said back to him, but Esdras is a Jew. Like, don't believe him. We Christians. He a Jew. How you going to believe him? What this shows is by the year 1492, those people who were Christians were not the people that followed the scriptures, were not the people of the book. They two solely separate people, and he came in to following something he didn't know anything about, right? And he's following Esdras. Let's go ahead and get Esdras real quick. Somebody give me second Esdras. I believe it's 13 and 40 off the top of my head. Let me see. Show you what he was talking about. Second Esdras 13 and 40. Yama, let me know when you got it. Should have used the digital joint for the.
I get these pages flipped.
Let's get it.
Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So we went into Assyrian captivity. After Babylonian captivity, we went into Assyrian captivity with the Persians and the Medes and all of this. We've been to a bunch of captivities. Then we were led away captive, right? After that captivity, this is what it's talking about in second Esdras. Keep going.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
Into another land, not the same land.
Another land.
One that they were familiar with.
Another land.
This is a whole different land. So while Christopher Columbus is sitting there guessing he gonna make it to the Indies, what he did not realize, because he was not a Jew, because he was not this great man who knew what he was doing, just because he was stupid, ignorant, didn't have the rest of the map. The Moors already had this map. The Moor just means black. So black people already had this map by now. Matter of fact, they sold one to him before he even left. That's a whole nother story. In exchange for white women, because the Moors sold us out because they love white women. Whole nother story, got nothing to do with the truth. I just felt I'd throw that one in. Anyways, keep reading.
But they took this counsel amongst themselves.
These are the Jews that's coming out of captivity that's there. They took counsel amongst themselves
that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a farther country.
They coming out of the captivity and he said, you know what, we're going to go forth into another country. They already in a different land, but they're going to go forth into another country. Go ahead.
Where never mankind dwelt.
We're going to go somewhere where ain't nobody ever went. Right? And it wasn't nobody who never went there, because you got to remember, if you go back far enough in time, you had the sea people, you had all these different places in history, and all they did was navigate the seas. They found big, ridiculous ark-sized boats in the middle of the desert in America. That's a whole nother story, and I ain't got time to explain that. And that's also some conspiracy theory stuff, so we're not going to get into that. But anyways, they start to go where?
Into a farther country where never mankind dwelt.
They sought to go into a farther country where never mankind dwelt. Go ahead and keep reading.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
This was the point. Now, coming out of captivity, I guess they learned their lesson. They sought to go into a country where nobody dwelt, so now they can finally keep the law, statutes, and commandments that they never kept in Israel, that they never kept in the land that the Lord gave us, because they had already been through a couple of captivities at that point. This is what Christopher Columbus knew before he ever even thought about moving somewhere. That's why when he said all of these other people, he said Esdras, he was talking about the scriptures. These scriptures predate Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was only 1492. Remember that. The scriptures was out pre-Yahushua. Yahushua had the scriptures 2,000 years ago. And you know that he had the Apocrypha with it because he celebrated the feast that was only in the Apocrypha. Go ahead, Al.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then shone signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
He said it would be a year to go all the way around Africa. The dude didn't know how long it would take, but he figured if he go the other way, he'll end up in India in the Indies. But he was willing to try to go as far as he can. Well, this is the people that came and went there before him, and they said it would take them a year to get there. A year and a half? A year and a half to get there. Keep going.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
And the same region is called Arsareth. I believe Captain Katazar bring it out where this was a place that was wrongly translated. And I believe it was called Aratazah, meaning like a land or earth, all right, in the Hebrew. And they translated it the wrong way. Is there any more to that?
Yeah, the next one going in.
Go ahead.
Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
All right. So this is what he already know. Go back to that biography. It's a place down at the bottom. We're going to get real quick before they close us up at the library. The point is, Christopher Columbus was not a great man. He was not a hero. He came over here to spread Catholicism, to kill and to pillage the land and take it all back to the Spaniards so he could collect. He was sent over here to get stuff for the Spanish king and queen who he made a deal with before he ever left. He was so dumb that he thought if he keeps selling West, he would end up in the West Indies and did not even realize where he was at when he got here. If you read the same biography, it goes down and talks about how the people over here were so nice and they would make great slaves and all of this other stuff. Is that where you at in the thing?
All
right, go down some more. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I wish we'd have had a little bit more time. I would have read through all of this. The enslavement of the native people. Go ahead and read that real quick. We'll hit that real quick.
Which one again?
Huh?
Which part again?
The enslavement of the native people.
Khan. The whole thing?
Nah, just go ahead and read till I tell you to stop.
Khan. On October 12th, 1492, the first day he encountered the native people of the Americas, Columbus wrote in his journal, "They should be good servants."
What he said?
They should be good servants.
They should be good servants. Go ahead.
Khan. I, our Lord being pleased, will take hence at the time of my departure 6 natives for your highness.
So he took some slaves. The first time he ever went back, this was the start of the Atlantic slave trade as we know it today. Go ahead and give the down to the Pope. Let me see here. Let me see what else I want to bring out. Go down a little bit where it says the Pope gives the Americas to Spain.
Khan.
Go ahead and read that.
Following Columbus's discovery, Pope Alexander VI issued a May 4th, 1493 papal bull granting official ownership of the New World to Ferdinand and Isabella. To these monarchs, the Pope declared, "We are on motion and not at your solicitation, do give, concede, and assign forever to you and your successors all the islands and mainlands discovered and which may hereafter be discovered towards the west and south."
Let me just wrap this up for you so you understand. Christopher Columbus didn't know where he was going. He did not even have a full map. He thought he was going one place, ended up another place, but he came with the intent to collect, to pick up, on a scavenger hunt, to find riches and spices and gold and slaves for Spain. He did that, took everything back, got the big payoff, and then in the end of that, the Pope gave the Americas to Spain. What about the people that was already over here when he got here? What about the people, the Lord's people that Ezra was talking about that went further to try to live and do what the Lord said to go? At the end of the day, the white man don't care nothing about your traditions. He don't care nothing about the Lord. All he cares about is his money. All he cares about is enslaving, robbing, and getting what he can gain. And Christopher Columbus was the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Damn right.
All right. So it's not like this is no day to be celebrating no hero. I wish I could find that commercial. You probably see it on YouTube if anybody even remember in the truth that it's Christopher Columbus Day. Because if you like me, like I went today to go handle some business. I was like, oh, it's Columbus Day. You know what I'm saying? The bank was closed. That's the only way I knew. And when the brother tried to set up for us to get the library, we didn't know if the library was open because all of them wasn't open. So other than that, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make sure y'all knew it. This particular thing is called understandingprejudice.org, and it's talking about Christopher Columbus. There's probably some gay shit on the website. I'm not sure, but all of the sources for the information is here. That's why I used it in the class. It's a bunch of books and a bunch of stuff on Christopher Columbus that proves that he was not a hero and should never be celebrated. And anybody you know bring up Christopher Columbus like it's a day that you should celebrate, especially the Lord's people. Make sure and break it down to him and let him know that he ain't shit. All right. Anybody got any questions on that? Go ahead, sis.
Hey, the Jews are clearly the Native American, the so-called Native Americans that went to that land. They were all Native Americans.
Right.
Now it says in the scriptures that the only reason they left, of course, is because we wanted to follow our tradition, God's laws. Now, But even with that, the only reason, as you said, they were brought into captivity is because of when we got out of Egypt. So, meaning that they weren't following the laws, or because the Most High already said they were going to go into captivity, even if they were following the laws when they went to the new land.
No, they didn't follow the laws in the new land. They did the best they could coming out of captivity, but you got to remember, this wasn't the first captivity. They was in captivity under the Babylonians. They was also in captivity under the Assyrians. So they took some of their ways right along with them. That's why if you go into like the Mayan and the Olmec and all of these different places in South America, you'll see a lot of those traditions, Babylonian traditions and things wrote within they pyramids and within their scriptures and all of this other stuff. So they was not subscribing to the Bible, even though that was their thing. The truth wasn't in the earth at that time, so they wasn't fully doing it the right way. You understand?
But they at least knew that they were the Jews.
They did know that they were the Jews, and they knew that they were supposed to be following the Lord. But at the same time, it's like a lot of us right now. We coming out of America, like you won't even know that you're not supposed to vote if you're not in the truth. It's some Israelite groups that say you should go and join the military. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You don't have to keep the Sabbath. So they still got Christianity on them, and that's why we say we're the only home of the truth. You could know you Israel, and that don't mean that you operating in the spirit that Christ operated in. Even people during Christ's time didn't operate in it all the way. John, who made the way and laid it down for Christ, wasn't even in the truth and didn't have everything that he needed to be successful. So, yeah, they intended on doing it, but they didn't have shepherds to make sure they did it the right way. It was all about survival at that point in time. All right. And also, most of them did not necessarily go back in slavery. Some of them did, but for the most part, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was the ones who was transported over here throughout the Hispanic tribes. They were just conquered and overtaken and dealt with when they was already here.
Okay, and is that how the transatlantic slave ship? Is that how we were scattered, like, you know, the islands of Haiti, Cuba?
Absolutely, because this was absolutely because once the Spaniards found out, then the French found out, and all these other different people found out. So it was always like just like in Africa when it was a gold rush about Africa. So,
okay, so it wasn't one trip in Africa. They just kept going back to America.
Absolutely,
not America. They just going. They kept going back to Africa, getting more and more. It wasn't one trip.
Absolutely. This was the first one, and I think it said he took back 6 or 7 slaves that first time. He didn't even come over here to get no slaves. He came over here to get spices, gold, and all of that. But he found these people, and he was like, we're going to take some of these people back to the king. And that's how it started. All right, so he single-handedly started what became known as the Atlantic slave trade.